Lives here with 3PO. 3PO, how are you doing this evening?
This is going to shock the hell out of you, but I am super fantastic.
I I'm really happy to hear that. Um, I think I know why though. It's
And
because today's Titanic Tuesday, right?
today is Titanic Tuesday. Out there somewhere, there is a massive iceberg that one team is about to smack into and head to the bottom of the depths. So we are going to find out who that is, Radiant or Dire, with a pub match today. What do you
The
think?
iceberg's name is the other team.
The other team it's, was
I'm
aptly named by its mother.
yeah. I'm looking at a game here. It looks like it's about to start in about 30 seconds. On the dire side is Hydro and Hydra, as well as Hay and Muted. Um, I almost want to join that one.
I think that's a good call. Let's pick that one
Okay.
up. So
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
Radiant side, we've got Pancito, someone whose name is I'm going to go with Unfunk. We've
yeah.
got CTV Chaser, aka Demented, Flying Zebra, and Dei. Nice little Latin name, Dei. Dei.
Deus. Yeah, I'm gonna go with not funky.
I like it.
Yep.
All right, so let's click in here, and we will see where this is going. So thanks for joining us, folks, today. If you do know or don't know, we are the Canadian Dota League. I am 3PO, and this is Stamos Lives as well. If you wanted to join our website, you can check it out at CanadianDotaLeague.com. You can follow us on Twitter at CanadianDota, and you can see us on Facebook at, you're going to be shocked by this, Facebook.com/CanadianDotaLeague.
You had me going there for a second. I thought that there was going to be a combo breaker, um, but yeah, way to go.
Yeah,
I'm,
it's
I'm amazed at your ability to actually register all of those. You've got those skills.
this is I'm going to tell you a little bit of a secret here. There is a social media tool called Knowem, KNOWEM.com, and you can actually check to see if social properties are available. And Canadian Dota League is not something that you can get on Twitter because it's too many characters, like a George Martin novel. So there it is. So we are into the picking phase here, and we've got a couple up already. I love to see a Pudge. I'm always happy to see Pudge. This is going to be a fun match. We got
I've just now loaded in my light bright here. Has finished it up. Yeah, it looks like we've got some strength picks on the dire side already. And 2 strength picks also out for the Radiant, so with Huskar and Tidehunter, and a Templar Assassin who we'll likely see going mid. Axe is always a fun choice. And he's on the dire side. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Are you
excellent.
excited?
I'm very excited. It's good to see Omni Knight picked out there. It's kind of an interesting change for him with the 6.78B update, with his ult now becoming a global that affects buildings when you are equipped with Aghanim's Scepter. Kind of a fun one.
Thus making that scepter a nice choice for him, especially if your towers are being pushed. Very cool. All right, we've got a couple more heroes picked out. Looks like the Radiant side has finished and finished that choice with a Life Stealer, Nyax, of course, his other name, and Rubik being picked by the Dire. Pudgy, as you had mentioned, and a Weaver. Weaver's always a fun choice too.
Nice.
No special courier by the Dire team.
That's sad.
I know. You know, he should join the Canadian Dota League and try to get a chance at couriers. We're giving those away quite often for people who share in the likeness of the Facebook page and also engage in other competitions. Do we have one coming up soon, 3PO?
So right now we are actually continuing to run the invite contest. There is a mystery prize coming out on Friday, so if you join the Canadian Dota League and invite a friend along, you will be up for a mystery prize this week. Last week we gave out 2 Shagbark Couriers, as well as a Furnace HUD and 2 Elder HUDs as well.
So if I have 3 or 4 friends that I want to join, then do I get my name in the pot each time, or how does that work?
You do indeed. Every time you invite somebody, you get your entry into the contest. Because who doesn't love a good contest, right?
And speaking of entry, Timbersaw has joined the match on the Dire side, being picked by Hay. And we're seeing individuals jump into their lanes. And the match will begin. Alrighty, Rubik going up top. Looks as if Weaver's joining him. Axe, I think, going to jump into the jungle. Lifestealer staking out that rune there. Looks like there's an invisibility he's looking to snag. Timbersaw solo in the bottom lane. Right now we're just looking at pretty basic lane phase going on. I'm going to take a look at some items if that's alright with you, Mr.
Absolutely. There's a bit of a chase here, though, in the bottom lane with Timbersaw slightly overextended, meeting up with Omni Knight and taking a bit of punishment from our friend Huskar as well. He is on fire and will tango up to mitigate some of that damage. So please go ahead, take a look at some of those items.
Yeah, I'm doing so right now. Huskar, of course, with a really strong ability to harass individuals as a strength carry. Has a lot of hit points early on, and on top of that, throwing that Burning Spear just can do a ton of damage. So, now, one thing I noticed was that Lifestealer did not pick up the Quelling Blade to start out with, but he switched to that. He's actually switched to it now, picked it up, had the courier kind of deliver that for him.
Saw a bit of an altercation up top with Tidehunter. Weaver just laying into him. And right now, without any tangos, he's got some regen with that Ring of Regen, but he's out of commission for the next little while. Especially with Weaver, Rubik, and Axe wandering around that jungle, he's got to be thinking, what should I do right now?
And Rubik's doing a really good job of zoning Tidehunter out by keeping these creeps up top. He's doing a lane pull, and he's also making sure that the creeps get stacked up. That's a very, very powerful early combo there. Tidehunter coming up less than half his hit points. And I think he's just experience starved at this point, looking at what he can do.
That's a tough solo lane to be in.
It is.
In mid lane, we have got Templar Assassin and Pudge. We've seen some hits being traded back and forth between the two. Pudge is out of tangos already. You know, with that bottle on Templar Assassin, she's just been kind of going to town and making sure that she's up at full health for those interactions there. Head down, looks like she's going to bottle that invisibility rune.
And Tidehunter just still trying to scramble for some form of experience, already being passed by both Rubik and Weaver significantly. Only level 2 right now. He's in a lot of trouble.
And splash out, and he's going to be popped up in the air by Rubik, who will continue to smack away at him. It looks like Weaver's coming down for a gank, and there's Axe as well. And the debuff on Tidehunter, you know, just bleeding away at his health, unable to find a creep to kill, and he will drop for first blood.
Yeah, he put himself into a really dangerous position. I'm sure that was incredibly frustrating for him, or the whole lane is in general. Still only level 2, then giving a ton of experience and gold to Weaver and Rubik, as well as Axe. Just a really frustrating situation and start of the game for Tidehunter.
So right now, you're Tidehunter, you're top lane, you're facing, you know, 2.5 enemies with a strong lane pull. What do you do?
You know, I think I would be asking my team for some assistance.
See if you can get someone to rotate in?
Yeah, I think that it's safe to say that it's kind of necessary. I'd probably not expect getting farm, meaning not expect getting actual gold as Tidehunter, and I'd request that Lifestealer maybe make his way up top. Lifestealer right now is getting a lot of really good farm, and I don't think that the Dire team is in any sort of danger here. It's just that they're going to be out of a team fight ability for quite a while. Tidehunter finally being able to get a little bit of farm, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And another thing that he could do here that he hasn't done yet is he can try and ward that lane. He did. It looks like he may have eaten the side. I can't tell if he did that with tangos or something. But it looks as if Rubik is still able to get that creep block or that creep hole by attacking the big lane.
In bot lane, we're seeing the Dire pushed back as Timbersaw is doing his best to pick up the experience that he can, and he's up at level 5, so he's doing all right. But facing off against Huskar and Omni Knight, he has been chewing through his bottle and his tangos.
Yeah, it looks as if he's been bottle crowing. Bottle crowing, of course, is where your bottle, you send that back with the courier to the well, and it fills itself back up. And that keeps you in the lane, gives you a lot of sustain.
And apologies for the random camera movements there. That is an appearance by my good friend Stormageddon, who is a delightful young cat.
It looks as if we may have just missed, I think Pudge dropped to, I believe it was Weaver who came mid. No, I'm sorry. I'm getting all confused. Tidehunter dropped again to Weaver up top. In the meantime, Templar Assassin was able to actually get the kill on Pudge. Templar Assassin in a little bit of trouble getting hooked by Pudge, taking a ton of damage now to Dismember, being chased down, but he pops the glyph, preventing Pudge from getting the kill, and gets away with a clean escape. Heading up now, seeing if he can find a rune. Tidehunter still only level 3. Lots of frustration on the part of that Tidehunter. Looks like he may be coming mid now, probably going to see
Axe getting
lane.
a hook on Omni Knight, and we will see Timbersaw come in the heels out, and Timbersaw a little bit in trouble, and he will get put down by Huskar. Pudge now making the run away, but not so much with the getaway. He's on fire, but he's good. He'll ward up and head out. Axe coming down to see if he can help out, but there's no fight there for him.
It didn't work out too well for the Dire there. Radiant actually managed to get a kill. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and take just a quick look.
And sorry, in mid lane, Axe is just being beaten on by Templar Assassin and Tidehunter, which will be his end.
Tidehunter jumps up significantly in level there. Now level 5. Getting that kill on Axe was really important for him there. Top tower taking a beating right now to Weaver. And Huskar just now finishing his armlet of Mordegigian.
His armlet. Pudge smoked up. He picks up Omni Knight, and we see rot out on him. And even though Timbersaw comes in, it's not necessary. We'll see Timbersaw come in on Huskar, and Pudge will right-click him down for the kill. Axe coming in, not needed. That was a splendid double kill. Lifestealer in the jungle. Is Pudge going after him is the question.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The visibility provided by that ward, obviously giving them a little bit of insight as to where Lifestealer was. Templar Assassin having visibility of Pudge coming back to mid lane.
Just real fast, going and taking a look at the kills for both team. Creep kills specifically. If you open up the statistics view just real fast, you'll notice that Huskar is in the lead, I guess you could say, for the Radiant side, doing very well in that bottom lane, but I think that the Dire is doing better overall. It's kind of hard to tell. I guess overall it's kind of a tie. Rubik's doing a pretty good job getting kills on that creep camp, which is why I say that, versus Omni Knight and Tidehunter neither really having any sort of creep kills at all. So, but Weaver definitely getting the food that he needs so that he can get farmed up, and Lifestealer doing the same thing, as well as Huskar. Huskar is going to be dangerous a little bit later on. Speaking of which, looks like Huskar is going on a dive right now on Timbersaw, manages to get the kill, and
the clutch heal from Omni Knight there.
Not just a heal, but also popping his Guardian Angels, making it so that Huskar took no damage from the tower at all.
It looked like there was some armlet pumping going on there really quickly because he picked up some health right quick.
Yeah, I think he definitely did the armlet pump. He was going to be able to get away. Armlet pumping, of course, is when you turn the armlet on, getting that giant boost of strength that it gives you, and then removing it after you take that initial blast of damage. It prevents you from taking the tick damage that the armlet does, but at the same time gives you a quick burst of hit points so that you can survive hits from, say, a tower, or maybe a spell, or maybe a long-range Radiant or creep. Huskar jumping in and getting the kill again on Timbersaw, using his ultimate life break to do just a ton of damage.
Hook out from Pudge there. It hits absolutely no one. He is just beating on Huskar, but there's absolutely nothing for it. Huskar coming in with those flaming spears and Really putting some damage down. Weaver will teleport in, and we'll see him.
Templar Assassin's there as well, though.
Weaver coming on strong, but
I think Weaver knew he was in a little bit of trouble and decided to get away. Thought better of it.
that time lapse, of course, bringing him back to a safer position as they began to give chase and getting out of there just in the nick of time. So that's a tough matchup there. We are 6-4, Radiant in favor of the Radiant, and 10 minutes in. Let's take a quick look at those graphs.
Absolutely.
Beg your pardon here. It looks like they're going on Weaver, who will disappear quite quickly and
Tower is under attack.
make a bit of an escape.
Weaver,
Coming
of
down
course,
bottom lane.
really hard to kill because of that Shikuchi.
And what do we say to the God of Death? Shikuchi, Shikuchi, Shikuchi.
Radiant's middle tower is losing.
Well, for Timbersaw, you say today. As Timbersaw dropped once again.
Omni Knight hitting with that heal on Weaver, but Axe is coming in. There's the hook from Pudge, the debuff from Axe, and Omni Knight will drop. Lifestealer not too far away in the jungle, but just not able to come and help. Got illusions out on Templar Assassin, who will head towards mid lane, where Huskar is quite magic resistant due to his low health.
Our Lifestealer here is doing probably what he needs to do, and that's just try to get kills or help out if he can, but for the most part sticking to the jungle, using that Hand of Midas whenever it pops. The Hand of Midas, whenever you use it, is a trigger that gives you 190 gold, and you get 2.5 experience on anything.
And they are going on Rubik here. We see Huskar popped up, and it's just a lot of damage being done to Rubik. But who will drop? Axe comes in. Guardian Angel is out on the team. Axe is just burned down by those flaming spears, and Shikuchi out on Weaver to get away. The glyph's up, but we've got 4 guys here to...
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm not sure if you saw what happened there. Huskar was actually had, I believe it's Repel? Is that the ability? Yeah, Repel. And Axe came in trying to use Culling Blade to get that kill on Huskar. Of course, always a great strategy if you're Axe to counter Huskar that way. But instead drops very quickly. Culling doing nothing.
And quick suicide there from Pudge, and a pause is out.
Yeah, Pudge looked as if he was attempting to fight Roshan, or he was doing something kind of strange there. Tidehunter came in, used his ultimate to kind of prevent it, but ended up getting caught by Weaver and Pudge and Roshan.
Weaver will attempt to teleport out, but despite being slowed, he will be popped out of it and is put down by the Huskar Templar duo. Looks like Rubik just managed to steal Life Break.
Yeah, always an interesting choice for Rubik to steal that.
Timbersaw just saved really quickly
Radiant's bottom tower
with a quick chain to get out of a very nasty position. The hook out from Pudge, but doesn't seem to catch anyone.
Templar Assassin finishing that Blink Dagger, building it. I shouldn't say finishing because it doesn't really build from anything, but buying that Blink Dagger outright from a lot of the farm that she's obtained.
can snuff the flames.
Pudge at this point just wandering around looking for some kills.
Dyer's middle tower.
So it's something that some players may not have seen before, is a player suiciding. And how is that done with Pudge?
Well, his Rot ability does damage to him, and so if you have Rot triggered, you're essentially taking damage from having the ability on. Instead of using any sort of mana, it burns his hit points. So one way that Pudge can get out of getting experience and gold to the enemy team is by denying himself, essentially. Wandering around with that on. If you're being chased with low hit points, you can let the Rot kill you instead. I'm guessing that's what happened there.
That's got to be really frustrating if you're chasing a Pudge down. You think you've got him. We will see Axe and Rubik jump in on Tidehunter here. Was quite overextended. Weaver comes in right at the end and helps put him down. Meanwhile,
completely out of position there.
Meanwhile, Timbersaw again. We just couldn't even get down here to see that kill. Obviously, pushed past the river when you don't really know where your enemy is. Seems like it might not be the best idea. He's been out of position 2 or 3 times now. Even that chain that he had before wasn't. I mean, it was well timed and well placed, but it was clearly needed because he was in a bad place. It looks like they are mutually smacking away at their T1s on the long lane for each team,
That's correct.
and each one will drop in sequence.
Top side, Radiant Tower is gone. Bottom side, Dire Tower has dropped.
And with the mid tower gone from the Radiant, it looks like they are, pardon me, from the Dire, they're just not in the greatest position right now. They've been fairly strong in some team fights, but I think the Timbersaw is definitely sort of a weak link for them right now. We will see...
Wow, that
Weaver.
was an amazing kill there. I didn't think he was actually going to get it off. I think that Weaver was being a little cocky there. Tidehunter, though, having enough burst, not only popping his Anchor Smash, his Gush, and then popping his ultimate, slamming that Ravage on the ground, managing to get the kill on Weaver with the tower's help.
Ravage is hard to hit just because it advertises itself so
Tidehunter
well.
then dropping Pudge.
There is little it can do.
But definitely a good exchange there. Rubik was in a bit of trouble as he was engaging and backed off.
Top tower is feeling
Looks like we will see Huskar just take that tower down and get the final hit.
top tower has been lost to war.
We'll see a teleport in from Weaver, who is hoping to catch Huskar out of position. He's tipped his
Huskar.
hand, though, going
Very
after some creeps, and
right now.
he's going to jump straight in, do some damage. Shikuchi out on Weaver to disappear, and are they going to re-engage? They will. Huskar with that flaming spear.
Huskar's in a lot of trouble here, and I think he knows it.
There's the time warp on Weaver, and it's just Huskar down and done.
Just Omni Knight trying to run up to see if he could get there in time to assist, but just not much he could do there. Huskar was incredibly overextended. Probably should have gotten out way sooner than he did.
It's one of those things where I think if you can't finish that fight on the first engagement, maybe back off. I mean, you're at low health. It's the nature of your character, and you're not going to make a lot of things happen, especially when they know where you are. You are overextended.
Well, he may have been doing what he wanted to do, though, by pulling the Dire up top. Looks as if the rest of the Radiant team managed to score a kill on Roshan.
So that is going to be 6 minutes to the Aegis expiring, and we've got 10 minutes for our next Roche. So we'll see how that goes.
Let's rip open that gold graph. I think it's a good time to go ahead and do so. And right now, Radiant has a resounding lead, over 7,500 gold. And a lot of that is just from superior kills and getting that kill on Roshan, of course. Experience looking almost exactly the same, nearly up to 10,000 right now.
Axe way down in the lane. He does manage to get his debuff off onto Tidehunter, but just being chased down by Templar Assassin. Not a whole lot of help, and a splash out from Tidehunter will put him down. We'll see Weaver come back in. He's doing some damage to Tidehunter, but you've got three down there with Lifestealer, Templar Assassin, and Tidehunter. Timbersaw comes in, but not much for it. We'll see Ravage out on Weaver again, who will time warp away. And stolen and used by Rubik, who will put Tidehunter down. The Guardian Angel out from Omni Knight. Rubik will go down to that. Weaver still fighting the good fight, but not really in the best of position. Omni Knight infested with Lifestealer, carrying him around like a backpack. Pudge is coming in. It looks like they might re-engage. This is kind of hard to tell where they're going to go with this.
We'll see. Templar Assassin doesn't really have a lot of mana right now, so can't really utilize the Blink Dagger.
And it's a 3-on-2 here if it happens, but Lifestealer will pop out. Weaver back in lane.
Excuse me.
And we'll see a teleport in from Tidehunter on bot lane. He wants revenge. There's that splash out, and Shikuchi from Weaver to get away. Time warp back.
This is what makes Weaver such a versatile character, the ability to get in, get a lot of really awesome kills, and then get out again without even really taking any sort of damage at all.
I should, and there's a chain in from Timbersaw to initiate the fight. We'll see it again. He's just not doing a ton of damage.
Oh, I mean, he absolutely ripped Omni Knight a new one there.
Pardon
Basically
me,
instantly jibbed Omni Knight.
yeah, Sorry, I was saying to Tidehunter, I do beg your pardon. To poor Omni Knight, I'm sure the Omniscience will welcome him back. But we will see Life Stealer come in on Weaver. And there's that open wounds that really just does so much damage. Completely missed a... and there's the...
Yeah, Rubik popped in there and blasted out his Fade Bolt. Timbersaw then plowed through. Lots of damage going out on Tidehunter at that point.
Apologies, we missed a kill on Pudge earlier. There's the chain for the getaway for Timbersaw. I should correct myself. Weaver's ultimate is time lapse, not time warp. I'm stuck in a Rocky Horror Picture Show sort of thing. Templar Assassin continuing to pursue
time
Axe.
lapse again, so it's just a jump to the left.
And Weaver and Rubik continue to go on Omni Knight and company. We will see Axe drop after some strong work from Huskar and Templar Assassin. Hook is out, but does miss Templar Assassin, who will blink away.
Huskar dropping there as well. Not sure if that was entirely worth it, especially at this point where the Radiant was above in kills, had a significant kill advantage, and now only within 5. Dire got a couple really good kills down at the bottom before the main powerhouses came in and were really able to clean up it all. You see another engagement here. Looks like Timbersaw's putting himself into position. Omni Knight caught up by Rubik, who pops him up into the air, now taking a ton of damage. Ultimate goes out for Omni Knight, popping that Guardian Angel.
A hook from Pudge pulls Templar Assassin, and a splash out from Tidehunter will put some damage down. Ravage will take Pudge down.
Pudge found himself completely alone there, didn't really have the backup. Weaver, however, comes in with a freshly purchased ultimate orb, getting lots of kills, just kind of cleaning up on the people who were left out from behind.
Lifestealer looking to pursue Weaver, but not able to find him. Ribbit coming in, a little bit low health. Timbersaw comes in on Tidehunter and chains away just in time after making the kill. Debuff out on Templar Assassin. Axe is doing his best to really do as much damage as possible. We'll see Weaver in there as well.
Lots of really scary, nasty damage by Weaver there. A large part of that due to the Swarm. Weaver now purchasing Lincoln Sphere, an awesome, awesome item for Weaver, which basically grants him a spell block once every 17 seconds. Essentially, when you cast a spell, it will completely block it out, giving him a free repel, essentially.
There was some talk about one item actually being prohibited on Weaver due to a copyright violation.
Oh yeah? What's that?
The Heart of Tarask. They were worried about it becoming the Heart of the Swarm.
That was a terrible joke.
I know.
I'm sure Diablo will take you.
Nice. Well played. See, I thought you would have said wow. Yeah.
Your jokes have the wings of
Tidehunter just taking a ton of damage here from Timbersaw as he chains in. Axe coming in to help, and Weaver putting the finishing touches on it. They will finally push this bottom tower.
And we're within 2 kills now, so fantastic play by the Dire, really teaming up, getting some awesome kills, and haven't really seen that yet. Or from the Radiant side, Weaver, of course, getting very well fed, and once again doing some nasty damage there, due in part to the Swarm, which lowers the armor of the enemy team just by a little bit.
We've got a lovely smoked up team here with that ward knowing exactly where their enemy is. We will see a hook out on Templar Assassin. Pudge is engaging alone, however, because we've got Rubik going in on Lifestealer, who will open wounds on him. Pudge will go down. Axe right now playing a game of cat and mouse with Lifestealer and Omni Knight. This may not have been the best engagement for these guys. Timbersaw is right behind, but will choose not to engage. Axe will drop, and we will see a teleport away.
Yeah, I definitely think you saw a little bit of cockiness there on the part of the Dire side. A lot of the kills here are in part because of Weaver's just massive damage. They went off on their own then, and just weren't able to really convert anything, weren't able to get any kills.
So that strategy of working together, not seen at that particular moment in time, and it's hard. I mean, you've got to think. You've got visibility on that lane. You're smoked up. You know, you feel like you've got an edge in that fight. But unfortunately, only seeing 3 of the Radiant team, not realizing that they were grouped up, was a tough time for them. So we've got Pudge and Rubik coming down on this T2 tower here, and we will see Templar Assassin initiate on Rubik.
Rubik here definitely needs to probably get like a bracer or something to give him a little bit of hit points. He's 1 or 2 shots from Templar Assassin takes him down to a little bit less than a quarter of his hit points. Weaver here playing some awesome Weaver play, going in Shikuchi, dealing out some massive damage, and then popping out using the time lapse once again.
So we've seen that that lead extended back to 5 kills, and it's some strong return play from the Radiant. We'll see Lifestealer teleport top to protect that tower. We've got Axe and Weaver in mid lane, followed by Pudge. Timbersaw heading bottom. They've got 3 sentry wards here on top lane to get some visibility on Weaver. They're really looking to mute his abilities there.
Die here, don't they? And I think the Dire still has a chance at this. I really do. But they have to stick together and play together and use their abilities in cohesion. And they're not really doing that right now. I mean, even now they're completely split apart. At least Weaver is split apart from the rest of his team.
And Weaver currently right now using a Shikuchi to get away. Huskar carrying Dust of Appearance on him to see if he can, again, mitigate that edge that Weaver's had, just sort of nipping in, nipping out, and nipping at their heels.
Speaking of which, really good time to take a look at some of the more interesting items out there. Huskar has finished his Mjolnir and also picked up Crystallis. Really, really nasty Huskar build, doing lots and lots of damage. Omni Knight, of course, with the support items. Looks like he's just about to finish, or is close to finishing, a Mechanism. He's got that Soul Ring to pop up. It's a little bit of mana. It takes his hit points away for that. It looks like we have another Mjolnir on Lifestealer, able to get a lot of farm, who also has a Hyperstone mixed with his Hand of Midas. So definitely going for a speed build there. Pudge missing a hole there on Lifestealer. Templar Assassin doesn't really need a lot of damage here. She's just got kind of the basic build there. Blink Dagger is a fantastic item.
Feels a little like a Sadie Hawkins dance right now, where everybody's waiting for somebody else to ask them to the engagement. We've got Axe, who will blink in on Tidehunter. Pudge coming up below. It looks like he's probably going to try to get a hook, and he will get the hook with Rod out, preventing the teleport away, and that was a solid kill from a strong pair there. Weaver pushing the bottom lane, while Timbersaw and Rubik are sort of station keeping there. Roche is back up, and it looks like the Radiant is heading in to see what they can do.
That was a huge mistake there. It looks like Pudge got a pull on, I want to say it was Lifestealer or Templar Assassin. I think it was Templar Assassin, and that Lifestealer was inside, is what it looked like. Lifestealer does finally drop, though, taking a ton of damage from the Dire team. Yeah,
right now, Weaver looking when to engage. We'll see him. Templar Assassin popped up by Rubik. Timbersaw comes in to try to do some damage. Weaver still picking away. We'll see Omni Knight almost drop that Guardian Angel out. Weaver will finally go down, and we'll see Timbersaw drop as well. Huskar just pounding out the damage right now. Weaver with the buyback, but we'll see 3 down on the... 4 down total on the Dire side. That was not a strong engagement for them. Weaver coming in with the buyback, but just not enough to do the damage. That Mjolnir plus Armlet.
Huskar in a little bit of trouble here. Actually, Tidehunter, though, popping in with an absolutely amazing Ravage, being able to pop up this team, saving his teammate Huskar, and Huskar finishing the job, getting kills, and
that's a full team wipe on the Dire. Yeah. That's gotta be rough. Dunked out from Lifestealer, and he couldn't be more right. That was initiating on a hero who's got just a ton of damage to do, and not having your full team with him. You can understand that you're frustrated after just losing a very big fight, but there goes Rubik after the jump from Huskar. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to continue to to weather that damage.
Well, let's be fair just real fast. I mean, they almost had Huskar down. They didn't know that Tidehunter was there, and I think that's an entirely fair attempt on their part to get that kill. So I'm going to disagree with you just a little bit there. It was only by Tidehunter popping in and popping that Ravage that those kills even happened. So, I mean, yeah, should they have maybe have known? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell. But Tidehunter hasn't really been the most consistent this game thus far, so...
That's a very valid point.
But finally popping in and doing an excellent job. Huskar, however, dropped to Coling. Yeah, he doesn't even care. He's like, okay, you hit me. Good job, buddy.
And we will see Lifestealer popped up by Rubik. As Weaver is there to engage, we'll see Pudge, unfortunately, taken down, Timbersaw taking down Omni Knight, Templar Assassin really finishing off Weaver. I think this might be GG.
Yeah, and I think the iceberg is in sight, and Rose is currently kissing Jack, folks.
And that really is what it all amounts to, is sitting on top of a frozen door in the middle of the ocean. Blink in from Templar Assassin on Rubik, who will pop up Templar Assassin, the debuff out from Axe. Meanwhile, the Radiant continue to pound on those barracks. That's 2 down now. And Timbersaw jumping and trying to do as much damage as he can. Finally, Axe finishing off Huskar. And we will see Lifestealer blink in from Rubik. And we will see him drop. Pudge right there on Tidehunter, getting Rod out to help finish him up. Chain out to get some mobility from Timbersaw, pardon me, to get around Templar Assassin. They have been just trying to put her down for the longest time, and finally we'll make it happen. Omni Knight, the only one left standing.
Yeah, Templar Assassin, of course, able to protect herself from an ability called Refraction, which essentially prevents, right now, up to 6 instances of damage. And just she's able to pop that out and pop that out. It really prevents a lot of damage. We see a full team wipe on the Radiant side, with the exception of Omni Knight, but the damage has been done with 2 sets of Raxes being knocked out, and only 1 left before Super Creeps are popped. Timbersaw looks as if he just picked up the Bloodstone. That's going to allow him to essentially just cast and cast and cast, being able to pop around using that Timber Chain and kick out a bunch of Whirling Death.
Omni Knight's with a haste rune, acting like a mobile ward there.
He's flirting with death here is what he's doing, I would say.
He has confidence in the omniscience. That courier is just dashing around here. Wonder what was really going on. Omni Knight's...
Huskar with a couple of really, really powerful purchases here, picking up a BKB as well as finishing a Daedalus.
That's you know, some cojones here on Omni Knight, just waltzing straight past Weaver, who was not invisible. He's taken the damage and will teleport away. Cheeky.
Weaver, of course, not having any sort of stun. Can't really do too much at this point to stop that from happening. Lifestealer may be in a little bit of trouble here. Looks as if there's a full Dire team down bottom here. I don't think he realizes the extent.
Rubik. There comes Weaver.
He's going to get toyed with here.
Rage is out, and it's just a ton of damage being popped out. He's got some regen, but we will see Axe finish it off.
Yep, that Culling Blade just plowed into his head. Culling Blade is Axe's ability, his ultimate, that allows him to get an instant kill on somebody who has lower than 625 health.
Teleport back to base as Huskar was starting to push down that mid lane. He will take Rubik. Pudge. There's a buyback. He will also get Axe, Weaver, and they will finally get Huskar down. With the buyback, though.
He purchases back.
Let's take a look at that buyback status. The only one with buyback left is Timbersaw.
Nice. I don't think he has a lot of money left anymore. Well, he's probably got enough right now. Looks like he was able to get a little bit of farm. Go look at the goal graph right now. You're going to see a significant jump in the Radiance side.
Omni Knight
Huskar
being dead
finishing off
cheeky and looking to engage. Huskar doing what he can to take Pudge down. Weaver jumping in, jumping out. There's just, look at that damage being dished out by Huskar, Templar Assassin, and Tidehunter. Towers melting. See a little spin to, well, just spin from Timbersaw. And let the fountain camping begin.
I hear the cracking of icicles right now.
Rubik staggering back towards his base and just not able to make it happen.
His lips. I can taste them.
Tidehunter with the debuff from Axe, who will be taken down despite refraction. Templar Assassin will drop.
And the Radiant team is not actually able to finish the game. For now.
Yeah. So with that, you're pushing on the Dire base. Would you have gone for the Rax? Would you have gone for the kill?
Well, I mean, you mean the Ancient? Would I have just gone for the Ancient?
Would you, yeah.
Finished it up? So here's the thing. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. You know, I mean, the game is pretty much over. I don't think there's a lot that the Dire team can do. Now, I know, never give up, never surrender. You've got the Galaxy Quest down, but in my opinion, the game is pretty much over at this point. You would see GG's out by now if this was a pro game. So I think that it doesn't matter too much. I think that the Radiant team hasn't really joined together. Each time you've seen Huskar kind of go in by himself or with one other person. So if you see a full team push by the Radiant, there's not going to be any issue. So it doesn't matter if you push the Ancient. I don't know. Maybe you'll get it killed. Maybe you won't.
Pudge pulling Timbersaw back there. We will see Lifestealer and Templar Assassin jumping in to see what they can do. Lifestealer with his...
Just kind of being left alone there, but Omni Knight does manage to come in. Doesn't matter, though. Templar Assassin dropping due to some massive damage by Timbersaw.
We'll finally see Lifestealer taking down Rubik. Timbersaw just really hammering away at Lifestealer. Weaver dropping to Lifestealer and Omni Knight.
Pudge killing himself.
And there goes that Gem of True Sight.
And looks as if the creeps are going to finish the job. The Ancient drops, and the Dire team gets sent into a whirlpool in the Atlantic Ocean.
Unfortunately, this time their heart will not go on, at least until the next game.
That's my impression of a foghorn, by the way.
I like it.
I said, I tell ya. I tell ya, son. That's my other impression of foghorn. Leghorn, yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay. All right. Well, so let's take a look just real fast. I think we got most of the items out that we were wanted to, or that we saw in the game. Goodness gracious! Lifestealer did manage to pick up that Skull Basher towards the end of the game. Also had the Assault Cuirass, nasty damage on his part. He had the Gem of True Sight to shut Weaver down entirely, and shut him down they did indeed. Nothing really significant on the Dire side in terms of purchases. We did see the Soul, or the Bloodstone, excuse me, on Timbersaw, giving him a little bit more mana. He was doing a little bit more damage towards the end. A couple Ghost Scepters out as well. Of course, that's always a fun item. But nothing really too significant on the Dire side in terms of items. I think a lot of that due to just being killed at those kind of key moments. So, who is your MVP this match?
You know, I have to say, I'm going to give it to Tidehunter. Just because it came back from a very, very difficult position. It's one of those things where, you know, you could become disheartened with being stuck in that lane by yourself, facing 3 of your enemies. And despite the fact that he was out of position a few times and didn't necessarily ward, which is something that some people may have done, he was in the right place at the right time with those Ravages and hit more of them than I thought that he would. So his mobility as a character, I think, really impressed me. So I'm going to give it to him. A thumbs up to our Tidehunter there.
Yeah, that first Rax did dropped basically because of him. If it wasn't for him blinking in, using that blink dagger, and then popping the Ravage, stunning everybody around Huskar, you would have seen Huskar drop, of course, and I think the game would have been significantly different, at least giving the Dire a little bit more chance to recuperate and maybe get some kills together. Mine's going to go out for Huskar. I mean, he was slamming. He had a fantastic build. He was getting really, really awesome and solid creep kills early in the game, taking some really hardcore risks, trying to get some kills on Timbersaw, of which he did. And on top of that, he was doing a really good job with his item build and ensuring that he was using those items to the fullest capacity. We saw him juggle that armlet a couple times by popping it on and off. That armlet pumping, of course, saving his life on a number of occasions early in the game. So, very, very solid play by Huskar, who is, of course, a hero that gets stronger as he takes more damage and has lower hit points. So, very good play by him, keeping himself constantly below, looked like a quarter of his hit points, in fact. And that's hard to do with an axe out there. So, you saw what happened that one time Axe actually got him caught.
And he really did sort of ride that fine line, and it seemed like he was popping his inner vitality when he needed it, but was willing to live dangerously, which is something that it takes courage. I can't do it. I don't like being at low health, so it's just not something for me.
It's really hard. It's very stressful, is what it is for me. I mean, I always want to be full health as much as possible. So, what about your Darwin Award? Who would you give that to?
Darwin Award, that's a good question. So,
allow me to posit one for you, if that's okay.
Please.
I'm going to suggest Timbersaw, actually. I think he was the only player that I didn't really see strong play from in this game, at least until later on. And that's a little bit rare for Timbersaw. I think Timbersaw is able to get some really good kills early on if he is paying attention and doing stuff right. And you saw him overextending often, which is not a good thing when you're already losing that lane. I saw him drop 2 or 3 times to Huskar, giving Huskar the farm that he needed to really turn the tides in the favor of the Radiant team. And I think a lot of that was due to Timbersaw just kind of being out there, maybe not calling for help when he possibly could have, or at least a gank from Pudge. And when they finally did have a gank from Pudge, Timbersaw was the first to drop in that fight.
That's a good point. I think if you had asked me halfway through the match, I would have said Axe. He really wasn't doing a great job in closing the deal, which is a surprise for Axe. But he really, towards the end, I think, did start to turn it on. I'd have to say you're right. Timbersaw probably was our weakest link this particular time around.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, so a question for you, Mr. 3PO. I'm feeling game for another one. I don't know if you are. Should we take? Go ahead.
I would love to actually do another one, but to be quite honest, I haven't actually had a chance to play Dota in the last couple of days, and I'm gonna say I think we should tune out here. Thank our viewers for joining us, and I actually want to play some of the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. A couple of things I did want to mention. Obviously, if you haven't picked up your ticket for the Canada Cup already, it's only 99 cents in the Dota store. You should do that to support some great Canadian play coming up June 15th to June 27th. Also, if you're in the Toronto area, you're going to want to check out hashtag Dotaronto, Dotaronto. That is on Twitter. And we'll have a website fairly soon. It is a $1,000 tournament coming up in the Toronto area fairly soon. We'll have some more information about that on CanadianDotaLeague.com and on the Facebook page. Last but not least, we've got some cool features that are coming to the website this week, so if you are listening and you are looking for our website, you're going to see some cool new stuff. We've got player profiles and team profiles. So if you are a Canadian player and you're looking for other people to play with, we are going to have a feature for you coming up very shortly. And if you have a Canadian team, we absolutely want to hear from you because we're looking towards putting together some events just for you as well as for you and an inclusive community around the world.
Yeah, and just a brief follow-up to that. As we mentioned at the beginning of our cast tonight, we have the Canadian Dota League website is up. That's www.canadiandotaleague.com. We have forums up. Please come in and post. Join our community. We really want you there. It doesn't matter even if you're not from Canada. please join us. We love having you in there. We want to talk to you about Dota. We want to play some awesome games, and we want a really solid community of players playing these games together. On top of that, we have recently released, was it 2 more videos since last week?
That's
We've
correct.
got the Clarity Potions video that we've released, as well as the Healing Salve. And the feedback that you guys have been giving us on those has been fantastic. So please give us more feedback. And finally, just my own tirade, all of the feedback you guys have been giving us overall has been great. We're getting your emails, which is at CanadianDotaLeague@gmail.com. We're also getting messages via Facebook, some via Twitter, and also Reddit, and they're great. It's giving us a lot of feedback on what we can do better for our casting, what we can do better for our websites, and we're really looking forward to melding this and making this into just a significantly cool community. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, the foghorn has blown. The iceberg is out. The Lusitania is on its way.
And Billy Zane has been saved.
That is Titanic Tuesday. Thanks for joining us, folks. This is the Canadian Dota League. I am 3PO.
And this is Stamos Lives.
We'll see you next time.